Good morning, leaders. We are the Group 1 reporters, and we're going to tackle about trade policies and agreements week 4. Let's start with trade policies and agreements introduction. Trade policies and agreements po, sila po yung nagsiset ng rules sa isang country po para po mas mapadali at maging patas ang pagbibenta at yung pagbibili ng mga products. Like for example po, sa isang country gusto ko po mag-home credit ng cellphone. Tapos, bago ko makuha yung cellphone po, meron po silang policy na magbibigay muna ng valid ID at saka down payment. After ko po mabigay yon, gagawa din po sila ng agreements na pareho kaming magkakasundo. Our objectives are instrument of trade policy, tariff, quotas, and subsidies. Next is non-tariff barriers and their impact on trade. Next is regional trade agreements or RTAs, Asian, RCEP, and others. And the last one is the Philippines trade policies and their impact on local industries.
My topic is all about instruments of trade policy, tariffs, subsidies, and import quotas. Identify the policy instruments used by governments to influence international trade flows. Trade policy uses 7 main instruments: tariffs, subsidies, import quotas, voluntary export restraints, local content requirements, administrative policies, and anti-dumping duties. Tariff are the oldest and simplest instrument of trade policy. Tariff refers to taxes on both imports and exports. Taxes siya nga or buwis nga ginabutang sa isa ka product na import-export. Then, sa tariff, may dalawa categories. Ang isa is specific tariff, then second is ad valorem tariff. Ang specific tariff is a set fee per item. Kung baga ang presyo sang imo nga product, bisan mahal or barato man, magaset pa sila sang taxes nga balaydan mo. Bisan mahal man na ang isa ka product mo or barato, magbayad ka lang gid gyapon. Tapos, ang ad valorem naman, porsyento siya sang halaga sang isa ka product. So, kung mahal ang product mo nga to, taas ang balaydan mo. Kung barato naman, nubo lang man ang baydan mo. Kay nakadepende lang man siya sa porsyento sang isa ka product. Ang specific tariff, bisan mahal siya or barato, basta magbayad ka lang yapon sitong tax nga gimbutang didto. Sa ad valorem naman, sa porsyento. Kung taas ang halaga or pricey siya, tapos ang sa cheap, so nakadepende didto. Kung kay nakaporsyento lang man na siya didto. Import tariff refers to the taxes on goods coming into the country. Syempre, sa word na lang na import, syempre ang magabayad sila ang mga importer. The important thing to understand about an import tariff is who suffers and who gains. Who gains? First, local producers. Diba sila man naman kagain sina kay mahal man ang mga imported products. So, sa ila magakadto ang mga average salary or mga bababa pag ng mga income nga mga family. Dito sila magkadto sa mga local producers kay kaya man lang nila. Kaya nakadepende man lang sila sa income nila sa adlaw. Second, ang government. Diba? Sa ila man makadto ang mga tax. So, sa ila makadto, pwede nila tipunon, pwede nga himuon project, magabulig sila sa mga tao nga wala na balayan, pwede sila himo sang pamamalay didto, sila project, or maghimo sila sang mga tulay nga budlayan man ang mga tao makakadto sa syudad para lang makabaka sa mga kinahanglan nila or what. Then sa who suffers naman ta. Number 1 is consumers. Diba kung sa mga consumer nga Pas mas ito nga average lang ang ilang income or mababa pa, di ba mas budlayan sila magbakal sito kaya hindi nila man ma-purchase, hindi nila mabakal, hindi nila kaya baklunto. So nakadepende lang gid ang pagbakal nila sa mga products, sa mga kinahanglan nila sa income nila. And number two is foreign exporters. 'Di ba sila man tong nag-import sang mga products. So sa tao nga nagakonsumo man sila, hindi sila kabakal kay 'di ba nubo man ang income nila. So magababa ang demand sa market, magalugi sila. Kung ipurso pa nila, maga-import pa sila, magasuhan sila. Grabe ang gasto nila para sa pag-produce naman sa product na bisan nga malugi na sila para sa market, wala na sang magbakal dito. Export tariff. Siyempre, ang export tariff naman, ang mga exporter naman ang magabayad sini. Then, sa export tariff, may ara siya sa dalawa ka objective. One is to raise the revenue of the government. Siyempre, sila naman ang makakakuha sang taxes, madugangan sila sang pondo para makahimo sang mga dalan or punduhan pa ang eskwelahan nga ginahimo or ano pa nga mga project ang gusto nila himuon. Then second, to reduce export from sector. Siyempre, kinahanglan man nga limitahan ang ginapagawa ng mga product. Kinahanglan nga may mabilin pa man para sa mga local producers kag local consumers. Subsidies as financial support from the government to the business or industries to help them reduce their cost. Subsidies help domestic producers in two ways. One, competing against foreign imports, then two, gaining export markets. Competing against foreign imports, 'di ba, sa ginahatag sang gobyerno nga subsidies sa products o sa negosyo nga to, syempre nag-loss na ang cost, ang balaydan tanan sa production, sa paghimo sang product. Syempre makaya na nga makipagkompetensya sa mga foreign imports, 'di ba? Kay makaya naman nga mag-produce ang damo ng products para ibutang sa market para damo makabakal ang mga local producers, consumers din. Then two is the gaining export markets. Siyempre, nag-loss ng or nagbaba na ang cost mo. Tapos, makaya mo naman nga gagmay naman ang balaydan or sa pag-produce mo sa market, sa local market. Siyempre, dako na ang dako na ang porsyento mo, dako na ang mga product mo, or ang demand sa market, sa local market. Siyempre, kaya mo na nga mag-export pa sa foreign country. Kaya mo na mag-produce para ang business mo, makaya mo man nga i-produce sa ibang bansa.
Topic for today is about import quotas and voluntary export restraints. Import quota is a direct restriction in the quantity of some good that may be imported into a country. The restriction is usually enforced by issuing import licenses to a group of individuals or firms. Import quota is legally binding. It is also setting the limit of domestic production, protecting domestic industries by limiting competition from imports. It also ensuring enough supply of essential goods and parts of agreement with other countries. Example here is the United States has a quota on cheese imports. The only firms allowed to import cheese are certain trading companies, each of which is allocated the right to import a maximum number of pounds of cheese each year. In some cases, the right to sell is given directly to the government of exporting country. So, ang United States ay mag-i-import ng cheese. Ang gagawin nila dito ay ang United States ay mag-i-import lamang ng kanilang produkto sa dami or sa limit na quantity ng kanilang produkto. Ang tinatawag natin na import products ay nagiging mahal na sa mga consumer na iaangkatan nila ng kanilang produkto. Another example here is the US imposing a quota on imported sugar, restricting the amount of sugar that can be brought in from other countries. Ang US ay nag-i-impose ng quota sa produktong asukal. Sila ay naglilimita ng mga produkto na asukal na ipapasok sa kanilang bansa sa kadahilanan na sila ay nagbabind ng quota sa kanilang bansa. Next topic is about VER or Voluntary Export Restraints. Voluntary export restraints is a quota on trade imposed by the exporting country, typically at the request of the importing country's government. VER is technically voluntary, but the exporting country typically faces pressure from the importing country to comply. Example here is Japan agreeing to limit its car export to the United States. Ang Japan ay voluntary na pumapayag na limitahan ang kanilang produkto na mga sasakyan na ibebenta doon sa United States. So wala na silang tinatawag na legally binding kung hindi voluntary na silang nag-agree na limitahan ang kanilang ibebentang sasakyan doon papunta sa United States. The impact of VER is similar to the import quota, but sometimes viewed as less aggressive because the import quota is legally binding, samantala ang VER ay hindi. So why VERs are sometimes chosen? Pinipili itong VERs or ang voluntary export restraints sa kadahilanan na they can be seen as a less confrontational way to limit imports than a quota, which can trigger retaliatory measure. Ang VER ay pinipili sapagkat ito ay hindi walang daming kuskus balungos o tinatawag natin na less aggressive siya kaysa sa quota, kasi ang quota ay legally binding siya. So ang quota ay legally talaga nilang binabayaran yun at limilimitahan, samantala ang VER naman ay voluntary lang. Kung papayag halimbawa ang Japan na mag-angkat ng ganun karaming produkto sa United States, wala nang madaming usap-usapan or wala nang madaming konfrontasyon na magaganap. So, we have here example graph. Example is hypothetical tariff rate quota. Alam naman natin na ang tariff ay tax na dinadagdag sa mga produktong ini-import at ini-export. So, we have here ad valorem tariff rate of 10% might be levied on 1 million tons of rice imports into South Korea. After which, an out-of-quota rate of 80% might be applied. Thus, South Korea might import 2 million tons of rice. 1 million at a 10% tariff rate and another 1 million at an 80% tariff. Tariff rate quotas are common in agriculture, where their goal is to limit imports over quota. Dito, kung masusundan natin sa ating graph, the horizontal axis show the quantity of rice imported in tons, with the scale marked in millions. The vertical axis show the tariff rate percentage. The graph shows that when the import quantity is less than 10 million tons, the tariff rate is 10%. When the import quantity is between 1 million and 2 million tons, the tariff rate is 10% Japan in rate quotas. But when the import quantity is greater than 2 million tons, the tariff rate is 80%, or tinatawag na ito na out of quota na sila. Kaya tumataas na ang rate. Halimbawa dito, pag magbebenta sila ng kanilang rice product or produkto na palay or bigas, sa halimbawa quota nila is 1 million. Pag magbebenta sila ng 1 million, ang kanilang tariff rate is 10% pa doon. So, dagdag yun sa kanilang babayaran. If magbebenta din sila ng kanilang produkto na 1 million hanggang 2 million, ang kanilang tariff rate din doon ay 10% pa rin. Pero pag magbebenta sila ng 2 million or mahigit pa doon sa kanilang quota, ang kanilang tariff rate ay tataas din yun dahil out of quota na yun, kasi nga 10% lang per 1 to 2 million. Pag sumobra na doon ng 2 million, ang kanilang tariff rate doon ay tataas na yun sa 10% hanggang magiging 80% na ang kanilang tariff rate. Next is export tariff and bans. Export tariff is a tax placed on export of a good. The goal behind an export tariff is to discriminate against exporting in order to ensure that there is a sufficient supply of a good within a country. A tax levied or established in goods exported from a country, tax is usually paid by the exporter. The export tariff has a purpose. The purpose of this is to increase government income, to control the flow of goods and protect domestic industries, and to limit the export of natural resources. Impact of export tariff is to raise the price of goods for foreign buyers, potentially reducing demand. It makes important goods less competitive, giving domestic producer an advantage. It leads to the retaliatory tariffs from other countries, harming the overall economy. The example here is a country could impose an export tariff in wheat, making it more expensive for other countries to import wheat from that country. So, mas magiging mahal o madagdagan ang presyo ng produkto na ini-export papasok sa loob ng bansa na galing sa ibang bansa. Next is export ban. Ban means that totally or legally prohibited o pinagbabawal ang pagbenta ng isang produkto sa ibang bansa. Export ban is a policy that partially or entirely restrict the export of a good, a complete provision in the export of specific goods or services. Kung pinagbabawal ang pagbenta or pagpapalabas sa ibang bansa ng mga produkto. Export bans means that these items cannot be legally sold or shipped to other country. The reason of these export bans is to protect natural resources, to ensure sufficient domestic supply, to prevent the export of goods that could be used for military or strategic purposes by adversaries. Example of this product are minerals, metals, or technologies that can be used in military applications. It is also to preserve natural heritage or prevent illicit trafficking. Example, a country might ban the export of essential medical supply during a pandemic, or a country might ban the export of weapons to region experiencing conflict. So, ipinagbabawal halimbawa noong pandemic. Halimbawa sa South Cotabato, ipinagbabawal ang pagpapalabas sa pagbenta ng supply sa ibang lugar para masisigurado ng mga ng South Cotabato na yung kanilang supply ay masusuportahan ang lahat ng nangangailangan sa loob ng bansa. Next topic here is local content requirements. LCR or local content requirements is a requirement that some specific fraction of a good to be produced domestically or ang mga produkto ay pinoproduce sa loob ng bansa. Example here is local content provision typically require investors to meet targets measured as a percentage of investment, hours worked, equipment supplied, or jobs created. What is domestic local content requirement? Domestic local content requirement are policy measures imposed by government that require foreign firms or domestic investors to source a certain percentage of their intermediate goods from local manufacturers or producers. Administrative trade policies are bureaucratic rules designed to make it difficult for imports to enter a country. Bureaucracy means is a system of government in which most of the important decisions are made by state officials rather than by elected representatives. Example here is workplaces, schools, and governments can all be considered. They are often large organizations with centralized, rigid decision-making processes in place. Halimbawa dito ay yung nagpapatupad ng batas sa trade ay ang nagdedesisyon dito ay ang gobyerno. Halimbawa, gobyerno ang nagdedesisyon kung paano ipapatupad ang policies ng pag-angkat or pagpapapalitan ng produkto galing sa ibang bansa. Yung workplaces o yung school and governments can be considered. Yung school naman, ang nagpapatupad ng mga polisiya dito ay ang mga school administrative officer. Let's proceed to anti-dumping policies. Dumping is variously defined as selling goods in a foreign market at below their cost of production or as selling goods in a foreign market at below their fair market value. A fair market value of a good is normally judged to be greater than the cost of producing that good because the former includes the fair profit margin. So, dumping is viewed as a method by which firms unload excess production in foreign markets. Some dumping may be the result of predatory behavior, with producers using substantial profit from the home market to subsidize prices in a foreign market with a view of driving indigenous competitors out of the market. Once this has been achieved, so the argument goes, the predatory firm can raise prices and earn substantial profit. Dito naman sa dumping, ang dumping ay isang proseso ng pagbebenta ng mga produkto sa foreign countries na mas mababa sa presyo ng market na kanilang binibentahan. So, ang dumping ay nagdudulot ng hindi magandang gawain or hindi ito magandang dulot sa mga domestic investors or domestic producers. So, sila ay magpapatupad ng anti-dumping policies. What is anti-dumping policies? Anti-dumping policies are designed to punish foreign firms that engage in dumping. The ultimate objective is to protect domestic producers from unfair foreign competition. Itong anti-dumping policies ay nagproprotekta sa mga domestic producers laban sa kanilang mga foreign competitor. Although the anti-dumping policies are vary from country to country, to majority are similar to those used in the United States. Example here is the solar panel from China. In recent years, there have been numerous trade disputes involving solar panel from China. Several countries, including the United States and the European Union, have imposed anti-dumping duties on Chinese solar panels to protect their domestic solar industries from the effect of dumping. Ang United States at ang European Union ay nagpapatupad ng anti-dumping policies laban sa solar panel ng China sa kadahilanan na protektahan ang kanilang produkto sa dumping. Dahil pag nakapasok ang produkto ng China na solar dun sa United States at European Union, ay malulugi ang kanilang produkto kaysa sa solar panel ng China dahil ang China ay nagbebenta ng mas mababa sa presyo ng solar panel ng United States at saka ng European Union.
Next topic is all about non-tariff barriers and their impact on trade. Non-tariff barriers po is sila po yung nagsiset ng standards limited for imported goods to make it difficult to other country. They do restriction or regulate trade between countries po. Example po yung Japan at saka US. Yung Japan po gusto mag-import ng kanilang product sa US, but yung US po nagset po sila ng standard limited for product po. Na para mas mahirapan yung Japan na mag-import na kanilang product sa US. Kasi po yung US, ayaw nilang ma-behind yung local product nila. So, mas gusto nila yung i-prioritize yung kanilang local product kisa po sa mga imported goods po. So, why non-tariff buyers po? Yung non-tariff buyers po kasi malaki yung rule nila. So, for wealthy nation po, para po maprotektahan yung kanilang interests against po sa poor countries. Example po, sa US at saka sa Cuba. Yung Cuba po is poor country. Kaya lagi po sila nag-i-import-export sa US. So, yung US na nakikita nila na yung local products nila unti-unting naubos dahil sa pag-export-import sa Cuba. Kaya gumawa sila po ng standard limited for imported goods na para mas mahirapan yung Cuba mag-import sa kanila. At para maprotektahan po ng US ang kanilang mga local product at sila rin po mismo makaka-benefits sa kanilang mga local product. Dahil po kung walang non-tariff po, mangyayari po sa US is magda-down po sila kasi ang imbis na sila yung makaka-benefits ng kanilang mga local product, napupunta pa sa ibang bansa po. So, si JATT naman po, na-establish noong 1947, siya po yung tumutulong sa countries by its lowering tariff or taxes po, pero hindi po siya yung permanent system. Tapos si WTO naman po, siya po yung replacement ni JATT noong 1995. Siya po yung gumagawa ng mas stronger and more formal rules for global trade po. At siya din po yung tumutulong sa countries' trade to solve more effectively po. For example po, kay JATT, meron pong group of friends, they agree to reduce the price of goods when they trade with each other. Then, they write down the rules without any formal way to enforce them. Then, dito po mapapasok si WTO. Siya po yung gagawa ng mas stronger and more formal with strict rules. And, siya po yung way to settle arguments when someone breaks the rule po. Next is 4 types of non-tariff barriers, namely licenses, quotas, embargoes, and import deposit. Let's talk first about licenses. Yung licenses po is yung mga produktong may permit or may license na pwede ma-import and export other countries. Ang example po nito is rejuvenating. If ang Rejuve po, if they approve and may license, pwede na po siya ma-import sa other country. Next is quotas. Ang quotas naman po, ito po yung limited quality of specific product that can be imported other countries. Example po, si Japan po. Gusto makipag-import ng kanilang sasakyan kay US, but si US po, tumatanggap lamang po sila ng mga fixed number ng sasakyan na can be imported po. Next is the embargoes. Ang embargoes po ay nagbaban or nagbablock ng isang country or they stop trading goods with another country. That decision made by the government or international organization. The example of this is the US and the Cuba. Yung US po, pinagsabihan po nila na yung Cuban that they don't want to sell or buy products from them anymore. Dahil yun po yung utos ng kanilang gobyerno or ng kanilang international organization. And the last one is import deposit. Ang import deposit naman po ay yung temporary financial requirements sa pag-import sa ibang bansa para po maprotektahan yung kanilang domestic industry and economic stability. Example po, I have my own business po, which is the smartphone worth 10,000. Gusto ko po yun i-import sa Japan. But before ko po i-import yun, yung Japan po, maghihingi po ng requirement sa akin, which is yung deposit na yung phone ko po worth 10,000. So, kukuhanan nila ng 10% of deposit. After ko mabigay lahat ng sinabi nila sa akin, yung pera pong 10% na binigay ko sa kanila is mababalik din po yun sa akin. Bale, yun po yung way nila para maprotektahan yung kanilang mga economic stability and local industry. At para masunod din po at walang mga difficult Next is the Regional Trade Management or RTAS, ASEAN, RCEP, and others. Let's talk first about Regional Trade Management. Ito ba ay gumagawa ng rules to make the taxes or tariff lower on goods to remove barriers and make trade more easier with each other. Ang example po nito ay ang Philippines gusto makipag-import doon sa South Korea. Then ang Korea, bababain po nila yung mga taxes or ang kanilang mga standards para po mas mapadali yung import ng mga produkto. Next is the ASEAN, or stands for the Association of Southeast Asian Nation. Ito po yung 10 groups of countries na gustong mag-grow yung kanilang economics by helping each other trade more easily. They lower the taxes so that products are cheaper and business can expand. Example po sa Thailand and Malaysia. Si Thailand po gusto magbenta kay Malaysia ng rice, but they don't have to pay higher taxes on it, so that the people in Malaysia will buy a cheaper rice po. And at the same time po, yung electronics mo na sold ng Thailand sa Thailand are cheaper too po. Next is the RCEP, stands for Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership. RCEP po is to create the largest free trade in world, making it easier and cheaper for these countries to trade with each other. Example po, yung Japan could sell cars to Australia without paying high taxes import. And yung Australia naman po can sell of its agricultural products like meat and wine to China.
I will report the Philippines' trade policies and their impact on the local industries. The Philippines has various trade policies that affect local industries in in different ways. These policies include tariff, import regulation, tariff and trade agreements with other countries, aim to promote local industries and protect them from foreign competition. The key trade policies. Number 1. The tariff. Taxes on imported goods that make foreign product more expensive. This encourages the people to buy the local product. Ang ibig sabihin ng tariff ang mga buwis na pinapataw sa isang bansa sa mga kalakal o serbisyo na inahangkat mula sa ibang bansa. Ang mga taripa ay mga hadlang sa kalakalan na nagpapataas ng mga presyo at pagbababa ng mga manggagamit ng dami ng mga kalakal na serbisyo para sa mga negosyo at consumer. Ang example ng mga tariff. Ang example ng tariff ay the 3% of tariff sa mais ay magiging 3% na tax na dinadagdag sa halaga ng mais na binabayaran sa sinumang domestic importer ng mais mula sa ibang bansa. Number 2, free trade agreements. The Philippines signs agreement with other countries to reduce or eliminate tariff. This can help local industries export their product more easily. Ang free trade agreement ay isang kasunduan sa pamagitan ng dalawa o higit pang bansa upang mabawasan ang hadlan sa pag-import at export sa kanila. For example ng free trade agreement. Maaaring payagan ng bansa ang libreng pakipagkalakalan sa ibang bansa na may eksposisyon sa pagbabawal ng pag-import ng mga partikular na gamot na hindi inaprubahan ng mga regulator nito. Katulad ng mga hayop na hindi pa nababakunahan o mga prosesong pagkain na hindi pa natugunan sa pamantayan nito. Number 3. The Foreign Investment Regulation. Policies that govern how much foreign investment can enter certain industries. This can protect local businesses by limiting competition from bigger foreign firms. Foreign investment regulation ay tumutukoy sa hanay ng mga batas sa patakaran na mamahala sa mga dayuhan individual na maaring namumuhunan sa bansa ng mga kumpanya. For example, of foreign investment regulation is the requirement in some countries that foreign companies cannot own more than 40% of local telecommunication firms. These rules ensure that the majority control remains with the local entities, allowing the government to maintain oversight and protect national interest. The impact on local industries. Number 1, support local businesses. The tariff on imported goods can help local manufacturers by making their product more competitive in price compared to foreign goods. For example, we had a dinner in a local restaurant. This can help keep money within the community to support the local chef and staff. Number 2, growth and innovation. Growth and innovation free trade agreements can provide the local industries with access to a larger markets, encouraging them to produce more and improvement their quality. Growth. Ang ibig sabihin ng growth is increased size, revenue, market share, overall economic output. For example of growth, a restaurant increase its customer improving by menu and marketing strategies. Innovation is a new ideas, products, services that improve efficiency, effectiveness, or customer satisfaction. For example, technology. The company may innovate by developing a new software application to enhance the user's experience, leading to increased customer loyalty and sales growth. Challenges from competition. While some policies protect local industries like import liberalization, may expose them strong foreign competition. This can be tough for smaller businesses that cannot compete in price or quality. For example, the two airlines, S Airlines and Sun Airlines. S Airlines compete with Sun Airlines with charge $5.50 per trip. Ang S Airlines bumaba ng presyo para mas maka-attract sa customer at mas marami pang sumakay sa kanilang airlines. Kaya ang kanilang presyo per trip ay 500 na lang. Ang Sun Airlines ganun din. Bumaba din ng kanilang presyo para mas makahikayat sa mga customer at mas maraming sumakay sa kanilang airlines. Kaya ang per trip ng Sun Airlines is $490 na lang. Kaya nagkaroon sila ng price wars. With tariff, sa tax imposed by government on import and export goods. Tariff are used to restrict trade para mas mag-increase ang imported goods and services para maka-less attract to the consumer. For example, if the United States impose a tariff on imported steel, it makes foreign steel more expensive and encouraging consumer and businesses to buy the domestically produced steel instead. Without tariff, barriers cover all the restrictions other than taxes imposed by the government on its imports. Kumbaga, without tariff, ito ay mga hadlang sa mga kalakalan na naghihigpit sa pag-import o pag-export ng mga kalakal or serbisyo sa pamagitan ng mga mechanism other than the simple imposition of tariff. The examples of without tariff is license, quotas, embargoes, foreign exchange restriction, and import deposit.
And that's all for today. I hope you gain knowledge from us. Thank you for listening.